Is there a movie that you can put on or you go to, regardless if you're sad, happy, engaged, disengaged? What is it might not be your favorite movie, it could be your favorite movie, but what is the movie that you always go to?
Uh, Probably Jurassic Park or Lord of the Rings
I don't have this. I don't.
or Star Wars.
I
Star
don't
Wars and
watch
Lord of the
it.
Rings are like my sick movies. Like I'll put those
Yeah.
on when I'm sick, and just lay on the couch and watch those.
I feel too much guilt to rewatch stuff like that, even if I'm not paying attention. It's like, oh, I want to watch something
Really?
different. Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, it's. I find myself not going back to many things, even the things that I know I love, because I always feel like I want to find something else. It is the checkbox, cross things off my list part of my brain that is always looking for a new thing and is always feeling guilty if I go back to an old thing.
Interesting.
It's a curse. I hate it. I would rather just go back and play more Into the Breach than play literally any other video game. But my brain's like, no, you should play the new stuff. What are you doing? And I hate it.
Well,
People can change, Chase.
yeah, people can change.
Not me.
I think for me, the last decade, it's become Scott Pilgrim for me. Like that's just a movie I throw on. But it's been the Royal Tenenbaums. It's been what's that?
I was stabbed in the back in a bazaar in Calcutta.
Don't you put your knife in me? It's just so good. And then I think that the most criminally underrated movie, it's one of my absolute favorites, and I put it in all the time, is What About Bob? I think that is probably the most slept on comedy to date, in my opinion.
It's a fantastic movie.
I don't disagree, but I think that in the Bill Murray catalog, it's got its audience, it's got its people. But yeah, Sarah and I sometimes will have like this whole thing where it's like, just put something stupid on. Like I just need that noise, that sensory, and so we've got our.
See, that's baseball for me. It's like, oh, we'll just put on a baseball game. It's new, but it's always the same thing.
What do you do? It's not all year though.
No, well, there's sports on of some sort, college basketball or
yeah. I don't know. I feel like you have to like engage with that though.
Not really. I keep a lot of that stuff muted while I'm watching YouTube videos or eating dinner or doing listening to a podcast. Or like
silent baseball happening on your television.
Oh, God. Silent baseball.
Yeah. And I can look up and I can see, oh, that was a big hit, and then I can just scroll back 15 seconds and turn the volume up and see what's going on. Or like there's a certain rhythm to a baseball game of some stuff you can just kind of let it slide off your back, and then other ones you're like, wait, that's not a thing that you normally see in baseball. What's going on here? And then somebody got fucking ejected because they were arguing balls and strikes, and now there's like a big dust up, and you're like, oh shit, I need to go back and check what that was.
Damn.
It was a couple days ago, or maybe it was just yesterday. Our guy for the St. Louis Cardinals, Paul Goldschmidt, hit an opposite field home run. It was his second home run, and this guy they were in Cincinnati. This guy in the front row in right field, just older gentleman, is kind of like looking up, going, "Oh, where's the ball? Where's the ball?" And it totally just drills him in the fucking shoulder.
Holy shit!
And he just goes down like a sack of potatoes. It's you felt bad, but also
God damn!
Come on, man. And so I just had the game on mute, and I was like, wait, what? Did I just see a man die?
Yeah, he's absolutely
was it like when a pitcher
dead.
would get hit in Super Mega Baseball?
No, not exactly. Like this was less. I mean, it felt less impactful, but it's just like.
Well, no, it certainly did not feel less impactful for him. I can assure you of that.
He just immediately goes down into his seat, and his older wife's there, like, "Hey, are you all right? What's going on?" And they try to cut back a couple times while Paul Goldschmidt's like, "Ooh, I hit a home run! Isn't that very good?" And this guy's just like, oh God, I'm dying.
This is a safe. We're friends. I can be myself.
We're not friends. I don't know what gave you that impression.
We'll get to the good stuff here in a second. I want to come clean on something. I watched an absurd amount of videos of not I can't watch injury stuff. Like I can't watch people like break their legs and things.
Sure, sure.
I want nothing to do with that, or like popping videos. My sickness is I like to watch kids not get hurt, but maybe look like they're about to like they got hit. Like I like to see kids getting hit with balls. Like if they're at a sporting event, kids running across the field, he just gets pelted by a stray. I think kids on playgrounds, like I will watch kids getting hurt, but not like permanent hurt, but just like you know.
I like fail videos. Like I like watching like skateboard fail stuff as long as
There's no compound fractures.
Yeah, as long as you're not seeing broken bones. I can't deal with that. Go back to previous conversations where I talk about how squeamish I am, but I love to watch a skateboarder trying to do a 50-50 grind on a rail and just absolutely racking themselves. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of beautiful things, Chase Kinnicky and Johnny Amizich are joining me. How are you two doing? And this is the Casual Hour. I'm Bobby. It is May 24th. This is episode 326.
May the 24th be with you.
Please and forever. We've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about tonight, folks. We are going to be covering more of Tears of the Kingdom. We're going to be covering, I believe, that new boomer shooter that Johnny's going to talk about. I'm going to talk about Humanity alongside Chase. And I got a brief little update on the Miasma Chronicles. But the real meat and potatoes tonight is going to be that Sony showcase. We're going to talk a little bit about, not everything, but some things that stood out to us, the tone of the show, what our general impressions of it were. We'll probably have that playing in the background, talking over it. So stick around. We got a lot of fun stuff to get into. But Chase, I would love to know what you've been playing.
I mean, I've still been playing Tears of the Kingdom. I've slowed way down. I think the last time I had 2 temples beaten, and I am just in the 3rd now. I just got there. I'm in the Zora one, the water temple, and
it's a cool one.
And like I'm ready to actually start that. But then I said, hey, this is a good stopping point. Let's pump the brakes, and I'll come back to it. So I mean, it's been good. It's been fun. Yeah. I did a little bit of item duplication stuff, very briefly. I didn't do like the new one that's supposedly way easier. I did the bow one, the old one.
Pro tip.
Yeah.
If you wanted to duplicate some bomb flowers, I would not recommend.
Don't jump on them with your shield.
Hold on a second.
That's a good call.
I've got a little pro tip for you, Johnny. Your failed experiment's not bad. Go into a camp or into a sprawl of enemies and start gliding above them, duping your bomb flowers, and just keep duping and keep duping and keep duping and just rain holy fucking terror down on them.
But I really just wanted some for my arrows. And I did it over water. I was like, okay, well maybe that'll
bombs you can do from a decent height, 2 passes of duping.
Yeah.
Before you get in problems.
That's what I learned.
I explored a lot more of the depths recently as well, which also just didn't top me out at all, but at least got me a lot more bomb flowers. They're just more common down there. So I mean, hey, that game's still great. I'll let you both in on a little secret that I broke down and I purchased 38 amiibo pog whatever the fucks. They haven't gotten here yet. Yeah, something like that. They should get here at least within the next couple days. So that's another reason that I've kind of slowed down a little bit. It's like, well, I could just wait to play this game and then get more amiibo shit with it. So
yeah, you get some cool stuff with them, man. Even like I have most of the unique gear. But even just like the mats that you get from these,
they're really nice. Like I have the Toon Link one from Smash Brothers, which just gets me a bunch of fish and
it'll get you a shield. It'll also get you a boomerang and an entire outfit.
Yep,
that one does not.
It does.
Not the Smash Brothers one. I think there's another Wind Waker one that gets you Toon Link stuff, but. The Smash Brothers one only gets you the King of Red Lions fabric for the thing, the glider. I think the one with him like with the actual wand gets you the set, but I have the one with just him holding the sword. I do have the 8-bit Link one though, and that gets you the full outfit of the hero set. So I've got that full set.
Set, glider, and sword.
Okay, I think I've gotten a sword. I haven't gotten a glider. Not yet, anyway.
Found most of them give you. I've gotten so many damn glider skins.
Yes.
There's a lot.
But yeah, I feel like there's a ton of that game I still haven't engaged with. I still don't have the power, the blueprint power that just lets you build stuff. So I still haven't. I mean, I'm still building stuff all the time, but it's all ad hoc stuff and not. Hey, I've got my exact thing. Like I watched the YouTube video of the green goblin glider versus the bike with the fans on the front and back, and how the front and back one is so much more efficient than the Green Goblin glider style. And I'm like, okay, man, like once I have this blueprint power, I guess I can start building some of these things. But for now, it's fine to just spawn a wing, spawn a cart, put the wing on the cart, and put a fan behind it, and just go. You know, we'll just fly 30 feet and call it a day. I guess that's fine.
the amiibo you have, Chase, is it the one where he's like running? He's got the sword back and the shield up.
Yep.
That does get you the set.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've used it a number of days and haven't gotten shit.
It happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I did the save scum stuff with the 8-bit one to get the hero set, but all right, that's fine. I mean, it doesn't matter. I've got 38 of the fuckers coming in soon, so I'll get it all eventually.
Johnny, can you do me a favor while we're talking here? I know that the other day you pulled our hour counts. Can you pull that for all of us really quick while we're here? I think that'd be a fun little thing to talk about.
I have a feeling mine will be the lowest.
I don't have my Switch with me.
I have my Switch. God damn it, Johnny.
I was at 65 hours. You were at 85, but I know that's higher now, Bobby.
Yeah.
Chase was at, I don't remember, 50.
Okay.
I think.
I'm certainly lower. 35. Mine says
35 for Chase. Nice. So yeah, I am at the point now where I am ready to fight Ganon. I think I'm not going to stop playing it, but I'm very curious. I've really enjoyed the story. I know that we all kind of joke about that, but like I think that it's one of my favorite stories being told.
Yeah, it's been a lot stronger in this one, I think, than in Breath of the Wild, and even like, you know, all the little NPCs you run into in the world all have like a charm to them.
Yep.
The sign guy.
He's so good, man.
Shout out to the sign guy. He's the best.
That is one of my favorite dumb things in a game in some time.
I think it's one of my least favorite things when I see him, where I go like, fuck, I got to do this again. But then I always end up having a pretty solid time of building that stuff and trying to figure that puzzle out. It's just it's very similar to the Korok thing of I didn't think I was gonna have to do this right now. And
what are you doing way out here in the middle of fucking nowhere?
Yeah.
I gotta hold this sign for the boss.
There have been some pretty fun ones where, you know, you just end up with this giant, like I had one where they had nothing around, and I had to actually go physically chop down trees to make a ton of logs and bring all the logs over and put them in this incredible contraption that is basically just holding down the sign at every possible fucking angle. There's so many goddamn trees around this little sign, and then he does like his 2-stick thing to actually keep it held up, and I go, okay, yeah, that was worth it. Whatever, buddy. Give me your 20 rupees and like 2 bomb flowers and some piece of meat that doesn't heal up even a quarter of my hearts. Damn it.
I got to tell you guys, I've only done this like really one other video game, but Johnny will know this. In Red Dead Redemption 2, once a week, I went back into the saloon and put the dude's hat on and just beat the shit out of him wearing his hat. Like that was just like, I was like, and it was just like, in my head, Arthur walks in, he's like, it's time for an ass whooping. The hat's still mine. And I would beat the guy's ass once a week. This time, I like to think that I'm a little.
You don't even like that game.
That was the game. That's the game to me. It's just once a week I fire it up and beat the shit out of the guy I took his raccoon hat from. But my little game that I play, Link's a little rascal. And every time he sees this guy, the guy's like, God damn it, not this guy again. And I'm like, no, seriously, like, I got you, man. Like, just let it go. It's good. And I let it fall over. It's like, fucking got you, bitch. I got you every time you fell for it. So every time I see him, I just let his sign fall over, and it's like my head links just like, hey, still got it.
I forget every time.
It's like Charlie Brown in the football.
Yes.
I forget every time that you don't have to start talking to him. Like you can just start building. You don't have to accept the mission or anything. So every time I go up and start talking to him, and it gives me the option, and I go, oh well, I obviously don't want you to let it go. It's definitely not going to work. But also, I am here. It's probably faster to just do this instead of backing out of the conversation. So yeah, go ahead and drop that fucking sign, you idiot.
It's my dumb little game I play. Every time I see him, the first one's like, no man, you're good. This is totally gonna stay. I love the president. Drop it.
I saw a clip today of someone that put rockets on the thing that stabilized it. And when it flew away, the guy looks up. He's like,
I saw somebody who somehow they got Pura on a glider, and he was just flying with her. It's like date night with Boo, and just like basically was out flying her around everywhere. It was so fucking good.
Nice.
Man.
Well, yeah. I mean, it sounds like we're all still having a lot of fun with that. I know Bobby's not saying he's on any sort of time pressure with that, but he is definitely blazing through that game at an incredible clip. Whereas Johnny and I think are taking that game a lot more slowly. And I'm having a great time.
I could see myself, like I would probably play this game over the course of the whole year. Like,
oh yeah.
But I think knowing Diablo comes out next week, I feel like I should try and get through the last 2 temples. I already have the Master Sword. Like finish all the big stuff as much as I can anyway. And then just go to like a leisurely pace, because that's what's brought me the most joy.
Are you guys, so when you're playing this game, are you looking up stuff as you go around, or are you just taking what the game gives you?
I've looked it up when I wanted to get like, oh, you found an armor piece, because then I get really like anxious if I don't have the full set. So I'm like, all right, hey, I found this. Are the other 2 pieces nearby? And I'll like go into it that route. I've been looking at like videos on, at this point where I'm at in the game, just like some meta fuse building, like how can you start to like really do good structures. And I'm now just getting to a point where like I'm rocking the same, like I've gotten enough of the weapons and the mats to where it's like I know that these 2 things together, there's a sword that you get in the game. It's not the Master Sword, but it seems pretty ineffective when you see it. It's like a level 20 something, but its ability is it doubles the value of what any item is that you fuse to it.
Okay.
And it's a one-handed weapon, which is really cool. So you can do big damage because you have something that like literally, like I have one right now that's level 138 is the damage on it. And it's a one-handed weapon, but it went from 28 to 138 because of what I fused to it. And it's just fucking awesome. Like, it's so cool. So like now I'm doing shit like that where it's like, okay, I need to know like where can I find this material fastest so I can like at least coordinate. Like, you need to be on that part of the map, so to start going there. And I've now also tried to not go to the closest shrine or tower, but like the one that's like second or third closest. That way I give myself more of a reason to explore.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I've been playing that game incredibly inefficiently, but I kind of don't care. In fact, I like the way I'm playing it. Where
there's no wrong way to do it.
Sure, but I feel like if I seen some people who have like 30 batteries that are going on, and they've built that little bike thing, so they're not even touching the ground ever, and they're just flying around and doing what they want. Seeing people do the drone stuff where they're just murdering enemies with these things,
I know, dude.
Which is undeniably cool for sure.
Yeah.
And Johnny and you and even me, we've all sent clips that we've seen from Twitter and things that people making ridiculous stuff. And while I think all that is really cool, I kind of have no desire to play the game in that way, where it feels like it feels like you're just busting the game wide open, and there's part of me, it's not like I'm playing it realistically or anything like that, but I like there is it's not even like a developer intended way. It's just I'm kind of playing this a little bit like Breath of the Wild, where I'm just kind of walking around and doing stuff, but I have these extra tools available to me to use whenever I need to. And I'm really liking playing the game that way and just kind of exploring around. I mean, I am sure at a point where I'm, 70 hours in and I've gotten all the temples and I just want to like get stuff, or I want to actually check stuff off the list and not experience the game so much anymore. I've already had that experience. Then I can go, oh yeah, just give me the fucking bike that goes over basically everything, that attaches the Korok guys to it incredibly easily, and is just the most efficient way of getting some of this stuff done. But right now it's just been kind of cool of still having that sense of discovery of, I don't really know what's over there. I'm going to walk over there basically as slowly as I can and just kind of keep checking stuff out. And having like the Sky Islands, Hyrule, and the depths to just kind of multiply that by 3 has been really cool.
I've been using the map so much more this time around, and if I come across something that I find, like the Korok seeds are a big one now, it's like I don't want to work on this puzzle, so I'm going to drop the seed icon where you're at to know, like, okay, here's where it is, because I eventually would like to get them. And that's been something that's been very helpful. The other thing is that you didn't get it until the DLC, but you can get the Heroes Medallion. You can actually get the 3 of them, which is awesome
right now.
And so that's been nice. This is it's your own fast travel point.
You can drop it anywhere on the map.
Oh, okay.
Fast travel back to that point.
And then you can collect it from anywhere on the map and then place it there. So I've been using that also as like, hey, this is a really cool spot. I want to explore this more. I'm going to drop a fast travel point here, go do what I was on my way to do. And then when I go back home and like wrap stuff up, then I'll come back to this. And that's been using that with the hero's path, where I can see like where was I at the most tonight and kind of play that back. I'm like, oh yeah, it was there. I'll drop point of interest. And I usually like give myself like a wind down. This is so weird to talk about the game this way, but when I know that I'm going to be like calling it quits that night, I'm like, okay, you got about 30 minutes. Like, let's go and button up a few things. Try and get, I usually cook before I close the game down. Make sure that I'm like in full health and all that stuff, to where when I fire it up the next day, it's just kind of like fresh start, go get it. You know that you've got your placemats to like go and do stuff. And that's been really fun for me. Almost like a journal. I'm like treating this almost like a journal, or more importantly, like writing in the margins like of an instruction booklet. Yeah, it's like,
and it's all based upon your own initiative.
I found a dumb thing. If you put a rock on a stick, and you've come to like where a Korok circle is that requires a stone, just drop your weapon that has the rock on it in the spot, and it counts as the rock, and then you just pick your weapon back up and go. And that like is such a dumb, easy little quick way to solve those. Like, where the fuck is that rock? Or if you're like me and you get your buttons mixed up, you throw the rock off the side of the mountain.
You know what? Some other people have mentioned that too, that there are so many mechanical things that you can do in this game from a control standpoint that I find myself all the time going, okay, I just want to put the bomb on my arrow. How do I do that again? Do I which thing do I touch to do that? And I hit like 4 different buttons before I figure out, oh wait, it's up on the D-pad. Jesus Christ.
You know what they should do?
It's going on the tip of your arrow. Think of that as like the direction.
Sure. That mnemonic works for this one instance. There's 30 other instances of things that I want to do.
One.
There's 3 ways that they sort right now. Like, you can sort by fuse power, type, or most used. Mm-hmm. I wish that they would, like in an update, let you have a hotbar that you create. And so if I press that filter one more time, I now have like a 10 slot hotbar that lets me put what I want into it. And then boom, I always have that ready to go. I'm set. I think that would be a very easy thing to do and be very helpful.
Okay, here's a question for you. I shoot my bow, it breaks.
Yep.
I know that I can just open up the same weapon menu and it will have another bow there that I can immediately equip. But if I take out my sword because I'm in combat and I don't have a bow, I need to fight this thing. What's the best way of equipping a bow outside of just hitting the start button and
right trigger,
and over on the right and right.
Ah, okay, sure, that makes some sense.
That does that.
Cool. Yeah, no, I've just always gone back into the start menu and equip another bow every time that happens. Yeah, unlike the swords where I can just easily equip a sword.
I'd have to test it, but I feel like in Breath of the Wild, maybe it wasn't that way. Maybe if your bow broke and there wasn't, like, it wouldn't allow you to change it. But maybe I'm imagining. Do you remember,
one more thing on the bow?
Yeah, like if your bow broke,
in
Breath of the Wild, would you have to go into your inventory and manually equip it, or
no? It was the same way. Okay. You can do the trigger. Right. Speaking of bows, if you come across one yet, I don't know if you've seen it yet, Chase. There's like basically 3 types of shots that come from different bows. You have one that zooms in like a hunter bow. You've got your standard bows, and then you have one that shoots 3.
Yeah, I remember the triple shot from Breath of the Wild. I have not found one of those bows yet. But again, I feel like I'm playing this game incredibly, not poorly, but incredibly inefficiently. Like you were talking before we started recording tonight about fighting upgraded Lionels, and like I still haven't seen my first Lionel yet. I've seen one. I've walked around a lot.
I got my shit kicked in by.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it would be the same with me. It's just I have not even seen one. Wherever I've gone, they don't exist right now.
They're tucked away. Like
I will say the triple shot bow in the depths. If you need to get quick lighting, that's a very effective way to do it, because it still counts as 1, but you're shooting 3. It's very good. It's very good.
I never want to waste the arrows when I'm down there. It's like I can just heave these things. Link's just throwing them like Randy Johnson down there. Just like, yeah, fuck it. You get a bright bulb seed. You get a bright bulb seed.
Here's another dumb thing. Again, just a little weird. If you're in a zeitgeist moment, they're going to patch this, so I'm not too concerned about it. But if you're duping things, there's a quest you get in Rito Village that you can just go over and do again. Talk to her. She's over where the hot air balloon was. She requires 2 different types of fish or bright shrooms and gives you arrows. So just dupe all those things and then go and give her all those items, and she gives you stacks of 10 each time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, but that game continues to be fun.
So fucking good. I love it.
I'm looking forward to this long holiday weekend that we get here with Memorial Day, and hoping to play a lot more of that game. I will not finish it by this weekend for sure, but I'm looking forward to playing a big chunk of it. There's another little game that I've been playing as well that has kept me from playing more Tears of the Kingdom, and that is they released another season of Destiny.
Oh God!
On Tuesday. Which means it's time for me to play more Destiny. I thought the last season was pretty okay.
That was the actual like launch, right?
Yeah,
this is their first small season.
Right. Okay. So like that is the annual expansion and the first season, so it always kind of feels like double content for that first one. And then this is the new small season. Yes. It is called the Season of the Deep. You are going back to Titan, the moon of Jupiter.
Oh yeah.
Or moon of Saturn, Jupiter. Can't remember which. Saturn. It is shown back up. It had disappeared. It had been taken by the darkness at one point, and now it's back. And Deputy Commander Sloan, who was your vendor person there, we thought she also just kind of got eaten up by the darkness when all that stuff happened. She had a distress call that now works, and you go and you do a mission on Titan where you go to rescue her, and you find out that she has kind of been taken, like half taken, where now she has like the Taken-y glow stuff that's kind of going around her, but she's still her. She just weird. She's like, oh yeah, I can kind of tap into their comms like if you could call them comms. I mean, I don't know. I'm like a black and white flamey lady now, but
Weird.
I'm here. Also, meet my fucking friend, and it's like it's just this giant leviathan, big fucking fish. It's a lot like the what's the Mass Effect DLC? That was called Leviathan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Mass Effect 1, I believe. So it does seem a little bit like that, and a similar kind of story of, hey, in Mass Effect, it was, hey, the Reapers fucked us up too. I'm like one of the remaining ones here. I can tell you some of the stories about how they fucked us up and give you some context for the whole thing that's going on. And this, because of Sloane's new Taken power stuff, she's also able to kind of communicate with this Leviathan. I forgot what it's called, like Asha, I think is the name that she's called it. And she's like, oh yeah, I can talk to Asha, and Asha has like Asha species also was fucked over by the Witness a long time ago, and we can kind of she can give you some intel on how to maybe fight the Witness or follow the Witness or what's going on. So from a story standpoint, that's kind of cool. They've opened up. I mean, Titan is not a place that you can go to.
Yeah,
it's not a
very
planet.
Fragmented.
Yeah, like it's not a full planet again where you could just go in there, but it does have missions that are on there, campaign missions, and then also the new 6-player activity for the season is there. It's called Salvage. There's a lot more water stuff that goes on. Like previously you were above this big ocean of methane, and sometimes you kind of go down into these facilities, but now sometimes you're just breaking out of that and you're in the fucking ocean.
Weird.
And they've added a pressure mechanic now where you kind of have to Sonic the Hedgehog style pick up the air bubbles.
Oh, you have to get an air bubble. Is there a
God.
timer?
There's a bar that
Is
is
there
constantly
anxiety?
going down, and when the bar gets really low, you start to hear cracks and crunches in your helmet, and even the glass starts to break. And I'm like, okay, nope, don't like that. Like if they played the fucking Sonic the Hedgehog music, it would be the scariest thing possible.
That
God.
always gave me such an anxiety
Oh,
attack.
terrible. Terrible.
Yeah. So you also can't shoot when you're in this mode. So they're not combat places. So they kind of just do it to get you from one place to another, and it's a bit of a jumping puzzle, and you move differently in the water. So it's kind of a new way of playing the game for some very small sequences, and then you get back to places where you can start shooting again. But it's been okay. And then the weapons. That's always kind of the most important part, to me at least, of what are the rewards? What are you actually going for out of this? And they've brought back, I forgot which season it was. It was the one where they kind of revamped Gambit and had a new set of Gambit weapons, and you could go to that place that was with the 9. It was like a I forgot. Is it called Eternity, or is that just the multiplayer map? I can't remember.
I don't think I was playing a lot of it then.
Yeah, you might not have been. There's a submachine gun called the Bug Out Bag. I mean, they're like black metal weapons with some gold trim stuff on them. Gnawing Hunger was a really popular one back then too, as an auto rifle. Anyway, they've brought back that set. Although they didn't bring back Gnawing Hunger, which is a real bummer because that's one of my favorite weapons, not only from that set, just ever. And they're like, nah, we don't need that one. So they brought back that set. It's got new perks on it. You can craft these weapons now. That's pretty cool. And then they've also brought in these new Taken weapons, which look awesome. If Bobby, you might even remember this from Destiny 1. There was a shotgun that had that kind of Taken fiery glow to it. Super cool. That specific shotgun is not back in the rotation. What's really lame. So Bungie's done this a lot lately, where they've taken old designs of guns and they give them kind of a new paint job, call it a different gun, give it some different perks, and call it a day.
Destiny.
Yeah, like Destiny. We're used to that. I told you they had that kind of Gambit set that they brought back. There's a second set that is just all of those exact same weapons, except they have the Taken look to them, and they might be different archetypes. They might shoot at different RPMs. They have different styles of perks on them, but it's the first time in my estimation that they've brought back the same weapon set twice in the exact same season. Like, you look at this thing, they're even on the same vendor, where it's like, would you like one of these weapons? Would you like this submachine gun that you've already used before a handful of seasons ago, or would you like this one that is basically the same thing? It has the exact same model, just with like a different paint job. It's like, but they're basically the same weapon. Like, no, fuck it, don't worry about it. It's okay. This one's stasis. This one's stasis. That one's solar. And you're like, yeah, I guess so. But you couldn't have picked any other weapon set to bring back with the models and give this take and paint job to. I don't know. It's not like a laziness thing. It's something the community has always bitched about, and it feels like this time they've gone, well, I don't know, fuck it. If we're bringing back a set, let's bring it back twice. To be fair, I think a lot of those weapons are really cool. They have some really nice perks on them. There are some specific perks that were only on weapons from previous raids that now they've I guess Bungie's like, okay, those perks aren't so special now that we can just put them on some of these new weapons, these more common weapons that are easier for people to get. So there's more weapons with reconstruction, more weapons with rewind rounds, more weapons with one of the new things from last year, which was called kinetic tremors, which is a really cool perk, and now it's on more weapons than ever. The Last Wish raid, they've made all of those weapons craftable now. So you can go back through the Last Wish raid and collect your Chattering Bones or your Transfigurations, and they have some new perk pools on them, some really good perks on them as well. So a lot of neat stuff. I think the 6-player activity is fine. It's got some cool ideas to it.
Nice.
It's kind of more Destiny, but I like Titan. It's cool to be back. And I like some of the weapons, and I mean, it seems like it's going to be another thing that I check back in weekly, maybe even every couple days, to go find. One last thing I do want to mention as like a really nice quality of life thing that is going to save me a lot of time. If you had a weapon that you've been trying to get crafted and you only have so many of the patterns, like usually some of these weapons need like 5 patterns, and I have 2 or 3 on some of these. In the season pass now, both the free route and the paid route, they will give you a new currency that are these like deep sight tokens, and you can turn any weapon that has a craftable pattern to it. You can take any one of those non-deep sighted weapons that you get and turn it into a deep sight, which then you can break down to get more pattern progress. So it's a way of not having to get the red bordered weapon and still being able to get the crafted pattern out of it. So especially for somebody like me who doesn't do a lot of the raids, I've done enough of the raids to have some of the weapons from those things. It is nice to have a way for me to turn the okay but not the good stuff weapons that I have into the weapons that I know that I will want to be able to craft those things, because right now, or like the last year plus, I've had to go in each week and play the same raids to get like these secret chests that I can do solo, and I don't need to have a whole squad of 6 to go find these one chests, and I can do them 1 per character, 1 per raid.
You gotta stop playing this game that way.
Yeah, no, it sucks, and this is now a way where I don't have to play it that way, and I can just gradually get those weapons in a more in a less random way, because those chests didn't guarantee a deep sight weapon, so you just kind of had to roll the dice, cross your fingers, and hope you got something. I will tell you, I got 2 deep sight weapons doing that this week.
Congrats, man.
So yeah, awesome. This was a very lucky week. Compared to others. Anyway, Destiny is still Destiny. I don't think this season is not gonna bring you guys back. I mean, I noticed you both fell off, which is fine. I knew it was gonna happen, and it did, and that's okay. But it is more Destiny. I'm much happier with the weapons this season, I think, than I was with the weapons last season. So it's gonna be stuff that I'll keep playing and having a good time with.
Awesome. Well,
probably won't talk about it too much more on the podcast though, because I don't know. I'll let you know if something crazy happens, but right now it's more Destiny, but it's solid.
Nice. Glad to hear it. I've mostly been playing Tears of the Kingdom, as we talked about previously. I said my piece there this week, but I have also made time to record a quick look that has not been published, stream a game, and play a little bit of this game, which is Humanity. And Humanity comes from the LTD.
So fucking good.
It's so fucking good. It's published by Enhance. It is currently on PlayStation and PC. You can buy it for $30 or opt into a higher tier on Sony's PlayStation Plus. And I believe if you're in the middle to high tier, it's included in that.
Yeah,
extra
is the one that I have still, and I was able to add it to my library.
That's because you never got rid of it when you got the cat game, right, Stray?
I forgot to cancel.
Wow, so that's a long time that you've been having.
Yeah, it is. Humanity blends a lot of things together. It is a puzzle solver, little platformer. It's got some Lumi's vibes to it for sure. Chase, the game that you had on your roulette wheel there, Echo Chrome, a lot of that's there as well. But it is a very interesting layout of moving hordes of people that will follow you as a glowing Shiba Inu dog. And there are abilities that you unlock as you are guiding humanity. Some of those might be the ability to direct them into one place or the other. One could be a jump, a high jump, a long jump. You can get some really cool abilities that will allow you to reset with all of your waypoints that you put down already loaded if you want to tweak a few things. It has one of the coolest soundtracks in the game, probably since Celeste for me. Maybe last year I really enjoyed Tunic's soundtrack as well. But it's so fucking good. The whole package of it, the puzzle solving, it gets to this point where it's itching my brain as a puzzle game. And Johnny, you may or may not like this. Chase called it out on stream, actually. It is like a factory sim at times where you just need to have loops you're creating and you need to make sure that buttons are being pressed. And the way that you're just kind of coordinating this is so much about like conveyor belt stuff. So I adore that. And I think that's probably why I've been so taken by this game. It's just fucking very well done.
Yeah, I think it's really, really cool. I like the soundtrack. I like the art style. I like the general mechanics. The thing I like most, and it's something I think I mentioned in the quick look. I definitely mentioned it on Casual Mondays when we streamed it. When I played Echochrome, you guys remember talking about Echochrome. I talked about it a little bit in my write-up as well for that. I thought Echochrome was really cool, and one of the things that bummed me out about it is that there were these time limits on each level. You'd go in, and I thought this game was just going to be this really chill experience where you could kind of keep failing. The guy can walk off and fall into the abyss, and he just kind of comes right back. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'll just kind of keep rotating this level and figure out how it works, and then get it right, and that'll be fine. It's just this kind of slow. It's a Sudoku. It's a Sunday crossword puzzle where you're just taking your time, and sure, they might time you at the end and tell you how you ended up, but it's just a chill thing. And then Echochrome would go like, oh no, buddy, your 5 minutes is up. Or if you played a level in a different way, your 10 minutes is up. You have to stop and start over from the beginning. I went, oh, that kind of fucking sucks. I didn't really like that. Humanity seems to be the answer to that, where there really is no fail state. The only fail state, and again, it's not really one. There are some special humans in the stages. They call them goldies. They're just large golden humans that tower over the other smaller humans.
Golden gods?
Yes.
Basically.
That's essentially what it is.
And those guys have one life to live. So you have to make sure that if you collect one of them by having your people walk over them, that they get to the end, the goal, without dying. Whereas the rest of your hordes of people can fall off the edge and fall into the abyss and be quote unquote recycled or revived at some
Reset
point,
or
as
something.
the game says. You're not just throwing a bunch of grist into the mill.
Yeah.
But as long as you're not dealing with the goldies specifically, you can kind of just let the game sit, and you can look around and you can place some ideas. You can figure out exactly what you want to do, and then you can kind of let the machine
they have
go
that
once
button
you
that you
all
can
figure it
push.
out.
You can basically pause it and go into like a free camera mode to look around for like your next move, which is really helpful. The goldies, Johnny, are if you pick them up, there's usually like 1 or 2 in a level. They are the skill tree or like the battle pass. If you progress the goldie, that unlocks a new skill set for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, because I remember in the trailer seeing the goldies, I guess.
Yeah, they're just these bonus objectives.
What was special
basically
about them? Because they obviously stand out against the mob of people that's following.
Yeah, I mean, so far from what Bobby and I have seen, they don't add anything to. They don't have any special powers. It's just if you can get them to the goal, you get the bonus for them. That might change later.
Yeah.
I mean, there seems like this game from the trailers that I've seen just has tons of mechanical things that they add. I've seen like Indiana Jones style boulders coming down. There's like an enemy faction of people that are all shooting laser pistols at each other. There's ways where you kind of have to like disperse your people, and it's like you're
some wild
splitting them
shit
and funneling them into different stuff. Yeah, it seems really, really cool. I want to get my hands on it myself. So far I've only watched Bobby play it, and the problem is there's too many fucking games right now.
I know, and I'm gonna talk about more of them.
So I don't know when I'll actually get to playing Humanity, but I can tell you I'm quite smitten with what I've seen, and I would love to get my hands on it myself.
Johnny, this is made up of some ex Tetris Effects dudes, so you're gonna get some really good.
Published by the same.
Yeah, the developer is The Limited, THA Limited.
Very good stuff there. So check that out. $30 included on what the higher and mid tier of PlayStation Plus. There's a demo, I think, on PlayStation, or there was at least. It does have VR support, so you can check that out. I think it'd be a trip to see it that way. We won't stream it again just because we don't want to spoil anything, but you can go back and watch our video on demands. If you're listening to this, you can see our quick look as well. Another game I really want to get into, because I've only played maybe 30 minutes to an hour of, is the Miasma Chronicles. And this is the same studio that brought us Mutant Year Zero, Chase, the game that you finally get to play. The Bearded Ladies.
That I am playing this game right now.
I know.
While you're playing the sequel, or not? It's not a sequel, but the next game.
Yeah. This came out May 23rd. The Bearded Ladies developed it. It's being published by 505. This is, if you've played Mutant Year Zero and you liked it, buy this game. It is very much that. This is it's an RPG, so you do have the open world roaming in between your battles, a lot like Showgunners that we're playing right now as well, a lot like Mutant Year Zero, I should say. But this takes place in Southern America, and it is a post-apocalyptic setting, much like Mutant Year Zero. There is the Miasma. I think that's how
I say miasma, but
miasma.
I think miasma, but
miasma, yeah.
Miasma.
That has there's been a nuclear event, I believe, that has caused basically humanity. They call us, I guess, the originals, and they're like, oh, that was the originals that walked here. You play as Elvis. You have a robot companion that I think might Elvis.
He's white.
He's white. Your robot companion sounds exactly like Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder, which is very funny.
All right.
So he is white, is what you're saying.
He's white. And I got to tell you, this game is really fucking good. The shooting feels great. The cover system's there. This is a 2 action point per turn game that you get for each one of your characters. You are picking up loot and materials. I've gotten a really kick-ass gun, and you get attachments. I was able to put a scope on that gets me 20% further range, which is awesome. But you have this glove, and I'm rebuilding the glove because an incident takes place. But it looks like you're going to have some really crazy abilities that you can bring into it, like casting tornadoes. You're going to be doing some earthquake type stuff, really tearing up the landscape. And I think it's going to be awesome. One thing I will call out, I believe this was in Mutant Year Zero as well. You can split your party up and create an ambush, which is so much fucking fun. And that is here again. Like mechanically, this feels identical in a lot of ways to Mutant Year Zero. And the writing seems sharp as ever. The setting is really cool. The graphics are great. It looks and runs really well. Deck compatible also. I think it's out on everything right now. I don't know if it's on console or not, or on Switch.
I don't think it's on Switch.
But
I can look that up later.
It is. Yeah, it's only on the current generation of consoles and Windows.
Yeah.
Switch is.
Or no, I'm sorry. It's
Switch
on Xbox One.
Switch is current gen.
Came out last gen. It's the last gen console.
It's a cross-gen console.
Whatever you got to tell yourself.
Miasma Chronicles is not currently on the Switch, though.
No. It's very cool. I think that we will definitely quick look this. I probably will stream this very soon with Chase. I think he needs to see it.
Yeah.
And I'll play some if I can put down Zelda. But
if I wasn't already playing Mutant Year Zero literally right now, then I might be really into this game.
I will say this much. Having two games like this come out in the same month between Showgunners and this, those are both very competent, very well executed turn-based tactical shooters. That
it's good to see this genre alive and well.
Yes. Last thing I'll call out, you're fighting mutants alongside humans. So like I've been taking on these giant fucking frogs that use bow and arrows. And
it's not Turgle, is it?
No, Turgle's a sweet boy that would never do anything like that.
Okay.
But it's cool. If you have the means to check it out, it is $40 on PC. I don't know if that carries over on console or not. It is
$50 across the board. It looks like
maybe it was 50, not 40.
You can get it for 40 right now from
Steam.
Fantastical.
Okay, it's really good. It's worth checking out, and we will do that.
Cool.
That's what I've been up to. Johnny, What about you?
Oh my gosh, excuse me. So
are we boring you, Johnny?
Yeah, you are. Aside from just the obscene amount of Zelda I've been playing, I picked up, surprise, there's a new Warhammer 40k game out called Boltgun.
One that actually looks good.
And it is good, Chase.
That's great to hear.
Fun. I think, let's see, I've only put like an hour into it so far.
It's just Doom, right?
It is a boomer shooter, like your cruelty squads, your God, I can't. There's been several of them that have come out, and this is, it's like that. So if you grew up playing your Dooms and your Wolfensteins, and you like walking down corridors and going through arenas and watching dudes blow up and just pixelated viscera, this may be for you.
Do you think is there another series out there that has more genres covered? Like there's so many different I'm trying to think if there's another IP out there that has been as diversified as what 40K has been across different styles of gaming.
I don't know. Because you're right. Like they have turn-based tactic games. They have your Dark Tides, your Vermintides, and there's also like the fantasy, and then there's the
there's that like action RPG
sci-fi
coming out too, right? Like the one that kind of looks like
this ties directly into Space Marine 2.
Oh, it does. Oh,
cool. There's a lot of different fucking Pokemon games.
That's true. That's true. Mario as well.
Yeah, Mario's been in a lot of stuff.
So this one, you are playing a Space Marine. You're going to this planet to fuck up some heretics in the name of the Emperor.
Are you only one class in this?
Yeah, you're just you are a blue Space Marine, voiced by one Rahul Kohli, who played the sheriff in Midnight Mass.
Awesome.
He's a huge 40k nerd. So I like.
Do you think he'll be in the show with Henry?
I don't know. That would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a dedicated taunt button. So if you push T, he just says some crazy shit about the Empire or like prepare to die.
You're playing this
You
on
have,
Steam, you said?
mm-hmm, yep.
Okay.
Playing on Steam, it's $20, and it's very much that type of game with a Warhammer skin. So you're using a bolt gun, which is their signature weapon. I've also gotten a shotgun, and I just got the plasma gun, and all the weapons feel awesome. Like I was kind of worried about that just because it's kind of a mixed bag with these Warhammer games. Like a lot of them aren't very good, but this is one of the better ones I played, and it has that like quick, it has controller support, but I feel like this is when you need to play mouse and keyboard if you're playing on PC. But you're going through, you're picking up health. Your armor is called Contempt, which I think is pretty good. Because of the contempt you have for your enemies that you're fighting. And you have your chainsword, which is your melee, and it also has a lunge, so you can ping from one enemy to another with your chainsword. And
right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It says
the stream died.
It says OBS is trying to reconnect.
Okay, I think it just reconnected.
It did.
Okay, we're good.
Hi. Yeah. I mean, it's playing an ad right now for me, but
okay.
I assume we're back.
All right, weird. We'll just keep going.
Yeah, okay. Johnny, I want to ask you about. Oh God, it's a noise. Mute that Twitch stream. Okay, we're good. Hi, Johnny.
It is working.
Hi, Chase.
Yeah, it's working. I can tell it's working. I wanted to ask about the deep lore in Warhammer 40K Boltgun. Do you feel like you've learned more about Harold's heresy? No, that's not his name. What's his name?
Harris or the Horus. The Horus.
Horus.
Well, that actually takes place prior to 40K.
Sorry, I don't really care. Do they talk about the magic cards at all? Do they reference like any of the cool cards that goes on?
I mean, I'm fighting. You're fighting heretics who. That was the deck that broke Bobby whenever we played that one time.
Sure. I don't know anything about 40K lore.
Like you don't need to know any of that shit. It's very bare bones. It's just you're going to this planet to fuck shit up, and when you get there, you fuck shit up. And I think the things I will call out, the taunts I said are fantastic, and there's a bunch of lines. Like I don't think I've heard the same line twice. The movement, like you feel like how bulky and just what a wrecking ball this guy is that you're controlling. And when you jump and when you land, the sound that your armor makes and the animation when he like gets back, like he goes down on his knees and he stands up, like it's really, really well done. It's good to see a game like this, because who knows with Warhammer games if it's going to be good or not most of the time.
True.
Yeah.
But this one seems real good so far, and
the Frank's hot sauce of video games, video game licenses. It's just slap that shit on everything.
The only other game I learned this from the Skill Up review of this. So Auroch Digital is the developer, and the only other game that they have put out is a beer brewing simulator.
Dude, I've seen this. I've not played it, but I've seen
Brewmaster beer brewing simulator came out last year. So that is
you're saying transition. They've got a pedigree then.
They do. Yeah, okay. It's just I think that just goes to show that
they'll give the Warhammer
Games
license
Workshop
to anybody.
Yeah, Games Workshop. It's like kind of like Stephen King, where he's like, "Yeah, give me $1. You can use a license for this story and make a movie out of it." So yeah, I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
Cool. It really impressed me with the trailer that we showed on the May preview. So
yeah, I think you could not give two farts in the wind about Warhammer stuff.
That's great because I don't.
Yeah, still have a good time playing this and just watching dudes blow up when you shoot them with your bolt gun.
Hell yeah. Hells to the yeah.
Yeah, and that brings us to the news, guys. We have a few things to get through here. Yeah. PlayStation had a showcase today. I think we'll bookend the show with that. We have a few other stories to get through just very quickly.
Not what bookending means.
Yeah.
Is it end cap?
It would mean we would start and
right.
end with it.
Sorry, end cap. That's what I meant. Tears of the Kingdom has sold 10 million copies in its first 3 days.
Sounds about right.
And that was a while ago now, so I can only imagine that number has grown exponentially since then.
It's a lot of Zeldas.
It's the biggest Zelda launch ever. It was still number one.
Is it the biggest Switch launch?
No, I don't know if it's the biggest Switch launch.
I have to imagine that's Mario
probably
Kart,
Animal
right?
Crossing.
Oh, Animal Crossing might be up there too. Yeah.
This thing is doing numbers, so it's a very great game. It's making Nintendo a bunch of fucking money, and we all like it very much.
Yep.
Steam, you know it, you love it. They started offering 90-minute demos on games, and what was one that they highlighted here? Dead Space. Dead Space got a 90-minute demo, which is more than enough time to know whether or not you were gonna like this.
How long was the old demo?
There wasn't a demo. They just had they have a 2-hour refund.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, like, if this seems kind of calculated, right? Like,
yes.
Maybe to curb back on refunds from demos or refunds from people buying a game, playing it for 2 hours and leaving. So that's cool. I think that
they're also doing that as a way to hopefully, like, either I wonder if they're gonna keep reviews.
Like a hardware check.
A hardware check is one, but also from a review standpoint, if they only do a demo, they can't leave a review. I wonder if they're gonna do something in those.
Yeah.
I wonder if that'll be a thing.
Maybe. Mortal Kombat 1. I thought Mortal Kombat 1 came out in the early 90s whenever we were all young.
That's where you're wrong, obviously. And remember, Sonic the Hedgehog only came out in 2006.
That's true.
Yeah.
True.
And he kissed a lady.
Mm-hmm.
They put out a cinematic trailer for this, and it is just as violent and fucked up as you would hope it would be.
What's the last Mortal Kombat game you guys played?
11.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
I bought it. I will always have a soft spot in my heart for Mortal Kombat. I played the Street Fighter 6 demo a few weeks ago. Had a lot of fun with it. It has like a much more accessible control mode, so you don't have to like input all the combos and stuff, but still feel like you're doing good at the game. I feel like I'm probably going to buy Mortal Kombat if I buy a fighting game this year, just because I have such an attachment to that series going back to when I was a kid.
And also, I feel like, at least in the last handful of games for each franchise, Mortal Kombat has had more there for the solo player.
Yes. Yeah, the story mode in 11 was a lot of fun. And I'm looking.
The story mode in 5 wasn't there at launch, and
no, it wasn't.
only showed up much later. So yes, one of these companies cares about the solo experience, and the other company does not give a fuck.
No, it's very true.
At least about fighting game solo experiences. They seem to care a lot about other solo experiences, as we'll get into when we talk about the PlayStation Showcase.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to do right now.
Let me see if I can make this work just to have it play in the background. You all keep talking.
This is fucking long.
It was.
Johnny, right before the show actually started, Johnny sent me a message and it was just like, "Hey, what are you hoping for?" And what was my response? I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something like, I don't fucking know.
Have any expectations?
Yeah, it's like I have no expectations of this. I don't know what they're showing. I kind of don't care. I didn't expect to be excited by any of this stuff, and I think some of the stuff was pretty hit and miss, but some of the stuff that hit pretty fucking big in a way that shocked me.
Sure did, dude. It was awesome.
We got some some surprise announcements. We got some things that had been rumored for a while.
I mean, there was a lot of stuff. It was
a
over
lot
an
of stuff.
hour. Is this a case where we want to highlight a couple things per person?
I think that works.
Do we want to hit some of the big marks now and then touch on a couple things?
Yeah, I'll start.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater. They're remaking MGS3, which I never played. But it also is strange to think that this is happening without any input from Kojima. And so I have to wonder, like, what is going to change? How will this differ from the original game? Should I just buy a copy of Snake Eater and play it on my PS2 if I want that true experience?
But yeah, I mean, you don't need to do that because they're also
releasing the first 3 games, and they call it Volume 1, which makes me think maybe we'll get Volume 2 that has 4 on it, because that still only lives on the PS3.
That's the most insane thing to me, and I know that 4 is not necessarily the most popular one of those games, but for being such
Metal Gear Solid,
a storied franchise,
yeah,
for that game to have only appeared on one PlayStation system and never anywhere else is
just crazy,
wild.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing I'm most interested in is do they go back and get David Hayter again?
Yeah,
they didn't.
They do. They did.
They do. Did they? Did they announce that?
The entire original voice cast is back. I saw that.
Okay. Nice.
I forget where I saw it on Twitter or something, but
cool. Because I noticed
and David Hayter
trailer
didn't like.
Yeah, a trailer didn't have any voices in it whatsoever. So I was like,
kept waiting for it, right? Like I was like, kept waiting, huh?
Right.
Like, say the line, Snake.
Yes. Yes. Long live Kiefer Sutherland. Kiefer Sutherland is dead. Yeah.
God. We got a glimpse at Bungie's next title, which is actually, what is this? Because it's very different from original Marathon, obviously. But
yeah, so like that was, I don't know, was that the first game Bungie made was Marathon?
Mm-hmm.
It was at least like one of the first franchises that they worked on, which was.
I wrote my dissertation.
That's fair. I'm sorry, I have to go back 200 episodes of the Casual Hour to find that the thing you never finished, like every video game ever made. Yeah, so like Marathon is kind of in that boomer shooter era of video games, right?
Yeah.
But
it
maybe
was one of the first 3D games.
Yeah, but maybe a little bit more cerebral, I guess, or like story driven than
like very
than Doom was for sure.
There's way more sci-fi for sure.
Yeah.
And they've put these games out like for free multiple times over the years.
They're free right now. I don't know what website you have to go to, but like there is a Marathon specific website. It's like, yeah, you're just gonna download the games for free. Yeah. Go for it.
They went to iOS. I played some of them there.
There's like an XBLA version of at least Marathon 2.
I remember that. This cinematic, because that's what it is. It's not gameplay or anything.
Yeah.
I guess we should say this is going to be an extraction shooter. A PvP extraction shooter, which I'm very interested in. I know you guys are less keen on that.
Absolutely not.
I like extractions.
That trailer was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And then you hear, oh yeah, it's going to be like a game as a service extraction shooter. And I went, ugh, fuck.
It's Bungie, man.
I lost all interest. I already have a game as a service that Bungie makes. I do not need a second one. I actively want to stop playing the first one, but I'm stuck. So I will be damned if I get caught in this again. I don't care how much justice you put in the soundtrack. I can't do it. I can't do it. I loved everything about this trailer, and then everything I've heard of it since has made me sick to my stomach.
Maybe reserve judgment until we actually see what the game looks like.
Sure.
See if I can.
I hope it has a single player story mode to it. That's all I want.
There you go. Bungie also showed off a teaser for the final shape, and we had a surprise guest show up, didn't we, Chase? Everyone's favorite, your friend and mine, Cade 6 was there for some reason.
I mean, they're playing through temporalities and stuff. It seems like that's what's I mean, at the end of the story for Lightfall, there was like the witness cutting this triangular hole in the Traveler and then going through it, and then at the beginning of this season, you see like a guardian trying to, not your guardian, but a random guardian trying to go through that, and then getting fucking mangled. So following the witness does not seem to be a viable plan, at least, and not until we do something on Titan and probably do a couple other things as well. But that, like, that trailer seems to take place on the other side of that portal. And it was Ikora, who is the warlock, head of the warlocks, forgot what they call them. She is kind of talking to herself, but Cade is also there. So I don't know if that's actually Cade or like a different plane of existence Cade or what's going on.
I didn't notice.
I
don't think you had a goatee.
I have to wonder if this is, hey, we know we don't have Lance Reddick anymore. We need to have somebody else shore up this voice cast, and also maybe it's a good time to bring Cade back just generally. I don't know. It could be fine. I'm kind of whatever on Cade. He was never my favorite character, but it's, yeah. I mean, you got to do something, right?
Yep,
for sure.
Bobby, I would love to know what you thought of the Assassin's Creed Mirage gameplay we saw, because you are the resident AC
yeah, for sure
fan here.
I think that it looks like a good return to form while bringing some of the modern concepts. Again, I don't know what it feels like. They did go to more of a kind of Souls God of War style combat with the shoulder buttons, but this certainly looks to be more of the Gotham era, like Gotham Knight or Arkham Knight type fighting, where you could bounce around a little bit more. I think that the setting reminded me a lot of like blending in more, because like these last few games especially felt more like of an Odyssey and just really fucking crazy, like bombastic shit, where this felt like, hey, I need to blend in. I'm truly an assassin once again. Like that felt cool. And if I'm not mistaken, they're still going to go down kind of the newer modern take. I think the next one's going to be in Japan. But I think that they've also said that they wanted to get back to Assassin's Creed pure for those folks who have been missing it. And I thought it looked slick. Like,
yeah, I was really excited by what I saw, and I just kept thinking like, oh, is Altair back? Are we like going all the way back? And it's not. It's a different character. I mean, you are still in the Middle East. I don't know how he pertains to Altair exactly. Maybe he's like one of Altair's apprentices. But that was always the Assassin's Creed I like. I'm the weirdo who really likes Assassin's Creed 1 and then thought 2 and Brotherhood were fine. But I have so much more invested into Altair than I ever did Ezio. And I know that is not a common opinion you see, but I really liked that old school Assassin's Creed. And if this game is like that, I know I'm sick of open world stuff, and even as much as I like Zelda, it is that open world shit. But part of me is like, I could kind of go for some old Assassin's Creed.
And this is October, and I think that it'll be a lot of fun. I'll be firing up the old Ubisoft Plus subscription again when that comes around and checking it out there.
Yes. Yeah. That's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely. So I'm really excited about that one.
We got go ahead, Bobby.
Are you just going down a list now, or are we all gonna? I thought we were telling.
I think we're still hitting the big points. Like it's probably we should just say Spider-Man, and then we can do whatever else, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got a good look at Spider-Man, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 coming in the fall. There was no firm date given for that, but it was just like 10 minutes of gameplay.
They showed a lot of gameplay.
It was just a mission. And we saw a lot in that mission. You'll be able to switch between Peter and Miles. Peter has the symbiote with him.
Do you think it's just going to be between those two? Because like they show a couple of other people. Like, do you think Black Cat's going to be part of that? Because
I think
in like the initial trailer where they're like, oh, we have all these targets in New York,
Yeah.
and it looked like Black Cat, Peter, and Miles. I
think
wouldn't be surprised if
Peter's
that's something
going to
they show
become a
later.
villain.
Yeah, I think the symbiote we're gonna get Bully McGuire.
Yeah,
he's gonna do the dance.
I think that you'll have people stepping in because there'll probably be a point in time where Peter's no longer a playable character, and so I do think that they'll probably tag in somebody else because we it's not Eddie Brock who has Venom in this. They've made it to where it's Henry, or not Henry, but Harry. He has the symbiote to like keep him alive, and so Venom's going to be in here somewhere. He was in the teaser trailer for it, so we know that he's established already. But I would assume that Peter and Miles have it out at some point in time based off this.
Yes.
Looks slick. I mean, Insomniac makes a hell of a thing, and I thought Miles Morales was exponentially better than Spider-Man. And I think having the symbiote and having the wingsuits and some of the abilities they're showing off, they had to do something to make Peter Parker as interesting to play with as Miles with all of his abilities. And I like that it seems like they're going to also give you different play styles. Like, hey, I need to have somebody for a stealth mission. Because they're showing story right now, but if it's anything like those other two games, there's going to be little city things to do. Hey, Miles might be a better fit for this one because you need to be a bit quieter, where you might want like more of a tanky symbiote to go in and do a fast murder trial or whatever it's going to be. Like, I could see stuff like that playing into it for sure.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I loved both of those games.
I'm excited for you guys. I really bounced off that first Spider-Man game. I just didn't like the way it controlled. Just could not get into it whatsoever. But I like the symbiote stuff. I'm excited to hear what you guys think of it, and I'll support you. I'll go watch the next Spider-Verse movie with you gladly. But
oh yeah, me and Jude are going to be seeing that.
Yeah,
day one. Cool.
Nice.
What else stood out? For me, Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah,
got the launch trailer for that. And Dragon's Dogma 2.
What'd you see in Final Fantasy 16 in that trailer that was news to you? That got you excited?
I don't think there was anything.
I don't think I saw anything new.
Yeah.
But I am going into this with an open mind, open heart. I have not felt truly in love with a Final Fantasy game probably since 10. I didn't care for 13. I thought 12 was fine. I kind of bounced off of it. And I think what they're doing here is probably what this series needs, is to be reimagined in a way. And they have extraordinarily talented people leading the way there, like with Yoshi P, and then I can't remember the guy's name that was like the combat designer for Devil May Cry. So I'm into it. I know that like Chase, you are much more of a fan of the turn-based stuff, and it hasn't even been turn-based.
Oh yeah,
even longer than it was. Active.
But I played a good chunk of 15, and generally liked what I played.
Yeah. So
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. Like it's felt like a series kind of adrift in a way. Like it's obviously still popular because they're still making them.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they've made at least 16 of them,
right.
So it would shock me if that franchise wasn't adrift at some point.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm really excited for this. And I think that covers all the really big stuff for me.
Yeah.
I'll just fire off a few things here. I think Helldivers 2 looks really cool, and I know Helldivers is very highly reviewed on Steam at least. So this looks to be a very different gameplay than what.
The first one?
I have not played the first one.
I played the first one on the Vita, and I think it had some stuff in there that made it relatively restrictive that I didn't really like, but I liked the trailer. I liked what I saw from that. It actually reminded me a little bit of the Arc Raiders trailer.
Yeah,
like seeing like the first Helldivers was all top down stuff.
Yep.
Top down shooter. So to see them kind of go behind the shoulder Like that game was always about co-op shooting with your friends. If they loosen up some of those restrictions and make it a little less punishing than the first game was, I could totally see me jumping in that with you and playing some of that.
Yeah, I'm very curious about that one. I'm only going to just mention things that we haven't seen in like another game preview of stuff. So this like new stuff for me. I thought Helldivers 2 looked really cool. I was really into seeing Towers of, I think is it Agaspa? Is that how you say that, or how that went? That was the
Agaspa.
Maybe. This was the. It looked a little bit like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom sometimes with the glider.
A little bit.
And but it does look to be more of like a city builder at times, or at least crafting, which I think looks kind of fun. I really liked this deeper preview of Alan Wake 2 that they gave us. I'm excited to see more of the Control universe coming into it, which is something that they said that they were going to be doing. Of course, Assassin's Creed looked awesome. Revenant Hill got me so fucking excited, and I found out a little bit more about that. It is the original writers, well, 2/3, the third no longer being with us, from that team that brought us Night in the Woods. It's set in 1919, and I believe it's going to be kind of a prelude to what you see maybe in the Night in the Woods universe. So I believe that in this one you are doing a bit more survival, and it kind of like comes off a little bit like an Animal Crossing almost. Like you need to find work to survive. You are now like in debt to this possum, and it sounds like some of the shenanigans and bullshit that you would do from interacting with people in the town. Like Night in the Woods is one of my all-time favorites. I'm excited to go back to anything resembling that. I thought Dragon's Dogma 2 looked fucking incredible. I cannot wait to sink my teeth into that game. I think it's going to be very, very good. And I thought Marathon stylistically was something to look at. I'm on the fence about what it will be. And I did not care for the Spider-Man game, as I mentioned, as much as Miles Morales. And I got very excited for what they showed here. I think that'll be a lot of fun to dive into. There was also one last one here for me. I can't remember the name of it. It was the same people who brought you Grease or Gris. Neva. I thought that looked really special. So,
I'm never going to play that. That's not true. I'm definitely going to play that. I really took to a couple of the smaller things they showed. One of those was that Neva game. Mm-hmm. That fucking wolf had a tree growing out of its head.
Yeah, it did.
Which looked cool as hell. I don't know. I really, really enjoyed Grease.
Yeah.
And this seems like it's going to have at least some combat in it. The woman has a sword. I don't know if it's all going to be side-scrolly like Grease was, but it seems like they're really bringing over that incredible art style stuff. Speaking of incredible art styles, I thought Ultros had a cool look to it. That's the one that this oversaturated look. It was like a little bit Guacamelee and a little bit Blasphemous.
It came right after Street Fighter, didn't it?
Yeah, you thought it was still Street Fighter because it had like this big multicolored paint stuff going on, but no, this is a completely different style of game, side scroller, side-scrolling melee-ish game maybe. I don't know if it's actually going for a Blasphemous or what, but I'll tell you, just the art style immediately piqued my interest, and I thought it looked really, really cool.
Yeah, man. Agreed.
And then the last one, and for me, probably the coolest thing I saw in the whole thing. Well, I mean, I thought the Marathon trailer was the coolest thing I saw, and then I got extremely disappointed by it. But the thing that has me most excited generally is Sword of the Sea, which is by some of the same people. Giant Squid.
Yeah.
Giant Squid, but like the visual designer from Journey and Abzu, and what's the other one they talked about in there? There's another one that's a super pretty game as well. It seems like, hey, remember how cool the sand skating was in Journey? What if we built a whole game that is basically just that? and it looks fucking rad. Your character is just surfing on a sword over these rolling sand dunes. There's dolphins that are swimming in the air. There's like a sand half pipe that you're just pulling tricks off of. It just seems
this game looks wild.
It's 100% aesthetic, and I'm all about it. And if it's anything like Abzu or Journey, I think I'll have a fantastic time with this game. That was definitely the one that made me sit up and go, oh, there's a game I'm gonna play.
Yes, that thing looked awesome for sure. That was this year too, correct?
Let me. I've got the page pulled up.
They showed off.
It doesn't say release dates. It says will be released on PS5 though.
Yeah, they did show stuff. I think that they showed a good portion that was this year, which we haven't really commented on it too much, but I think this was a very impressive showcase for Sony, and I think they did a hell of a good job showing off what they got in the pipeline.
I think the things we've mentioned were pretty good. There's a lot of stuff we haven't mentioned. Can anybody here name one PSVR 2 game that they showed?
Arizona Sunshine 2.
You interested in playing that?
I mean, no, I don't have a PS VR 2. I do have the Meta Quest 2, but Beat Saber, I like Beat Saber a whole lot, and I like Queen a whole lot. I think that's a very fine experience in VR and a fun one at that. Arizona Sunshine, I know people like that game a whole lot. I've seen that advertised quite a bit. I just don't have a desire to check it out, but yeah, man, that's kind of it for me. Like,
yeah, they just had a whole section of PSVR 2 stuff that I watched the first couple and thought what I saw was not something I would ever want to play. I've been against VR for a while. You guys have certainly known that, but this, like, seeing this stuff does not make me go, oh yeah, it's time to jump into VR. I think I'm very comfortable with my choice.
Yeah.
Sure. Seeing this as the trailer stuff plays, this was just the shocking thing to me. After years of being dormant, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is back and alive apparently and coming out. This was a game that Platinum was working on with somebody else, and then at one point they announced, like, oh yeah, Platinum is no longer working on this, and everyone thought, well, what the fuck does that mean? Is the game dead? Did Platinum do something wrong? Like, what happened? And then we heard nothing about this game for years. This was pre-pandemic, before, like, was the last time I heard anything about Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, and now they're like, oh yeah, it's coming out winter of this year. I mean, I don't really care about Grand Blue all that much, but I thought this game had a ton of style when they showed it beforehand, and this was coming. I think this was coming kind of off the heels of Nier Automata, so it was kind of like, oh yeah, more platinum action games like this, yeah, absolutely. So that one, I don't know if that got me excited as much as it just, like, let my jaw drop of holy shit, I can't believe this is still alive. And then we all are just ready to throw our dollars down and buy the new PlayStation handheld, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
dude,
I almost forgot.
That is one of the.
Forgot to talk about that at all.
It literally is it looks so generic. It looks terribly generic.
I was considering sawing my DualSense in half and just attaching it to either side of my iPad Mini. That's what Sony did.
Like, I understand why they want you to have the DualSense, but Jesus Christ, Sony, you've made handhelds before that look fantastic. You make some of the best looking handhelds. Why did you fucking fumble it so bad? And I gotta say that
whole thing is fumble. It's all fumble.
It's all fumble, man. Like, we talked about this before we recorded, but Jesus Christ, you can absolutely use your phone right now with a $99 kick. I have a Backbone. I don't have the Sony one, but I have a Backbone. It is a fantastic piece of hardware that you can put your phone in that can actually use 5G, and you can do that currently for $99. If they have put out a $200 DualSense Edge, there's no way in hell this thing is going to be at that price point, which it should be. If a controller without a screen on it costs that much money, Jesus fuck, this thing's going to be so expensive.
And people were bagging on it on Twitter as the event was going on that, oh, Sony just invented the Wii U. And to that I say, kind of not as good as the Wii U. Like,
right.
The Wii U at least did something with, there's this separate screen experience that you could do some stuff. Like, the hardware certainly wasn't up to the quality that we kind of expect. I'm sure the Sony one will feel better and look better, but
it's terrible looking, man.
That's not what this machine is. This machine is solely a remote play device. It's only going to play stuff that's already on your PlayStation 5. It's not a dedicated handheld system, and I don't think Sony's ever going to do that again, because it didn't go well for them the last time, and I think them showing off this shows that they're scared to even try. But
dude,
I don't know who this is for.
It's for. So let me just back this up. I think that Sony is catering towards like aging millennials, people that have a bit more disposable income. Like in the console realm, like it is the most expensive console family that you can be tapped into. And when I look at this device, it's much like the headset for VR, which makes even more sense than this. You have to have a PlayStation, so that's $500 to get into it. Mm-hmm. This is going to be for a family, I would imagine, or a couple that share, for whatever reason, a single living room or whatever it may be. And if somebody wanted to be able to watch a TV show while still being in the same room together and continue their own things, that's where this comes into play. Like,
yeah, but to your point, like that this fictional couple, like, I have a feeling they own an iPad. They own
100%, dude. They have it already.
They have a phone.
Yeah,
like they have the ability
so to
do this already.
I don't get it at all.
I'm very much looking forward in 10 years to bringing this on a show and tell deep dive episode of the Casual Hour to talk about another.
This is its sole purpose.
Yes, where I can tell you about the PlayStation TV and how it led to whatever the fuck they're calling this thing.
Project Q.
What a fucking miserable
it's
piece
a bummer,
of
man. Like, I would have loved to see them kind of step away from VR, and I think that I don't know what they would do. Like, I think remote play could be done on it, but I think that they're at a point now where they would have to probably do PS4 era games or go back to some of those indies and bring it to it. I know that they want people to play remotely. I know that they're trying to do that. They've not really been creative in a cloud environment, in my opinion.
The Vita had remote play.
What's up?
The Vita had remote play. You could,
totally.
You could make a dedicated handheld system and also just have it.
I know. Play. That's what I'm saying, man. Like,
but it would be a thing. It'd be something that people might actually use.
And look, Sony makes good headphones. I'm excited to see what they're doing here with these.
They make good headphone cases. I'm wearing
a pair of Sony headphones right now.
God, hey. Say what you will, they are good about making consumer electronics. It is the thing Sony does. They make some slick looking shit. And I'm not being hyperbolic. I think that headphone case is one of the coolest looking things I've seen.
A good look.
I don't think I want those headphones. I'll stick with my AirPods and just be fine with it. But I would like that case.
Johnny,
and I want to put my AirPods in that case.
Those would be good headphones for you downstairs. For if they have you have the Sony ones, don't you? For your PlayStation? Or is your PlayStation upstairs?
It's downstairs. I have a Razer headset I got on sale.
Oh, okay. Because I know just like Discord now, like having something that would tap into it would be nice there. Look, man, like this thing, they did claim that the PSVR 2 is picking up, but that came out in a pretty sad state. I don't know how the DualSense Edge is doing at that price point, and I see this thing being $399 to $250, somewhere in that ballpark for this. And I think the headphones will probably be $150 to $199 if I had to guess. And all of these have to go back to a PlayStation 5. It's expensive, man. Like it is expensive. I would say this much. You can do remote play on a Steam Deck. You can use the Backbone that we've talked about. The ROG Ally that's coming out is $700. it runs Windows, which they have a streaming app on Windows right now. They have a streaming app on iOS. You can get iPads for $100.
I don't know who this is for, except for like the diehard Sony fanboys.
Right. Agreed. It's wild, man. It's a very weird thing. It's one of the weirdest things I've seen Sony do in a while. In my opinion.
I mean, they made the PlayStation TV, so
that made even more sense, though. Like,
it's a good piece of hardware.
I mean,
because you could download stuff to that.
No one bought it.
Yeah,
you could remote play to it.
No one bought it, but it had a real use case that I could think of. And also, I mean, we talked about it more. You can go back and listen to that deep dive and learn more about it. Like that was a machine that wasn't built for America. It was built for another audience in another country that wasn't getting a PlayStation 4, and they thought this was a market they could break into. And then once Americans saw it, we were like, oh, that's kind of cool. Can we have one of those? And Sony's like, yeah, I guess. And then we didn't buy it. So it's a little bit on us, but like there was a reason that was built. I just don't see the reason. Bobby brought up the ideal scenario of where that would be used, and even then I still think it's an incredibly thin excuse. Oh god, the fucking Gran Turismo movie.
I know. Look, you guys,
true story.
We need to end the show now.
We do need to end the show.
All right, let's end the show then. So this week we've had a stream on Monday night where we did play Humanity, the game that we covered earlier. I have not been able to break away from work or Zelda to get the final stages of our quick looks. Apologies. I will probably double dip tomorrow sometime, if not Friday. We'll just put up our podcast and quick looks and get everything there. We will also not have a stream this Friday night. I will be on assignment, and Johnny does not want to stream solo. We will be talking more about the Sony showcase along with other Summer of Game stuff in the next few weeks. So just stay tuned for more coverage like this. We've got a lot around the corner. If you want to stay up with what we're doing, though, you can go to that social link there in chat. And you can also hear more about the great things Chase is doing by looking at all those links. Chase, what do you got going on?
I'll just shout out Pilot Program real quick. Pilot Program is a podcast I do with my good friend Pierce Corshane. We watch the first episodes of every television show ever made. We are on our 11th episode now, which should be recording next week. We're watching The Shield. I'll give you a little preview. I watched the first episode of The Shield yesterday, and I think it's one of the worst hours of television I've ever watched in my entire life.
Yikes.
So, going to be exciting to hear my full thoughts when we record that next week. Good time. Shows.acast.com/pilot program.
There it is. All right, y'all. This has been a lot of fun. Thanks for putting together the notes on the show. And let's all head to Hyrule together. Bye, everybody.